This is a short screencast to demonstrate a new mode of interaction which is available in the simple Neurite Tracer plugin for Fiji. I've already loaded in here a nice data set. This is an olfactory projection neuron from Drosophila taken from the Diadem Challenge datasets kindly provided by Greg Jeffries. And the way that one would normally trace within this dataset using this plugin, or the hitherto recommended way, is to find points within the 2.5D view, this stack viewer, and click to start a path. You see a little blue square appear there. Move further along the path. I click there. And the plugin will search out a path between those 2 points. If you're happy with that, you would click yes to confirm you want to keep the path segment, and then move further along the neuron in the same way. And this works fine. As you can see, the results are reflected in the 3D viewer here. But it wasn't up to this point possible to actually interact with the tracing mechanism in the 3D viewer. However, now you can, and to demonstrate that I'm going to just cancel the path we started creating there already and start again, but this time do everything within the 3D viewer. Now essentially there are two tools here that are important for the tracing. The one I have selected at the moment is the hand tool. This is used basically to reorient the image and to make it possible to pick out the points you want to trace from. The other tool which you use is the wand or tracing tool, and if you select that, you can now select points directly within the 3D viewer. So suppose I want to start the tracing there. I would just click on the end, and you can see there's a little blue ball analogously with the little blue square in the 2.5D view. If I select the hand tool and rotate that, you can see that that's picked out the point in 3D quite reasonably. Now if I want to carry on with the tracing as with the old view, I would select the wand tracing tool again and select a point which is further along the neuron. Let's say somewhere there. This brings up a little blue ball again which indicates the target point. At the moment the progress of the tracing isn't actually reflected within the 3D viewer. You can still see what's happening if you switch back to 2D. And once it's finished, you should see the blue temporary path displayed in the 3D viewer as usual. There we go. Switch to the hand view again to see what that's created. That's quite a reasonable fit to that path. So as before, we would have to confirm that temporary path to keep it. You can click in the dialog there to say yes, you want to keep this new path segment. But now you can also use the standard keyboard shortcuts within the 3D viewer. So if we just put the focus there and press Y, that confirms the temporary path. Now suppose we want to continue this path to the end of one of those terminal processes within the branched region. Again, select the wand tracing tool and say click at the end there. Creates a target point, and very quickly we should see there's a path being traced to that. Again, I press Y to confirm that, and F to complete the path. That turns it to the magenta color, and also you can see that path has now appeared in the paths window. Another shortcut which is new in the 3D viewer is just you can press the letter G on your keyboard in order to select whatever the path is that's under your mouse pointer. So if I want to select that path, I just press G. And this is important for creating branching structures. You can do this in the 3D view as you could before in the 2D view. So suppose I want to trace this little branch off here. I would have to have the existing branch I want to branch off from selected, and then I select the wand, and instead of clicking as normal, I hold down Control and click on the point in the path I want to start the branch from. As hopefully you can see there, that's actually created a green ball instead of the blue ball to indicate that a join point has been started there. If I select the wand tool again and click at the end of this process, it again quickly finds the right path towards the end of the bouton. Press yes to confirm that, F again, and in a similar way I can move my way along this process. Again, Control click to start a branch. Oops. That creates a green ball. Click at the end of the process. It finds a good path between the two of them. Yes, F to confirm. As you can see, this is a somewhat more intuitive way of navigating around the 3D image that you're tracing. You can of course switch back to the standard 2.5D view at any stage. You should see if I again Control click to start a path here, say, if I switch back to the 2D view, you can still see that point has been selected there, and that's the same as that point there. So this is quite a new feature of this plugin. It seems to work nicely at the moment, but there are a few things you should be aware of. One of them is that it works nicely for very clear images with little background like this. But if I switch to perhaps a noisier image, you'll see that it does have some problems. So here, this is an image I often use for demonstrating the plugin, but as you can see, there's a lot of background noise in every part of the image. So what you may find if you're tracing an image like this is that when you try to select a point, it actually selects a point in some of the background in front of the point you actually want. So for instance, in this case, we wanted to start there. It might appear obvious to us which point we mean, but if I select the image and rotate it a bit, you'll see it's actually selected a point in the foreground and not the point that we actually want there. So if you don't have a very clean image, or a clean enough image to be able to do this, unfortunately at the moment the most obvious way of dealing this if you want to use the 3D view is to just threshold the image. But I hope there'll be a better way of doing that in the future. However, I hope the 3D tracing feature is something that people find useful.